Hey everyone, it's Magda and
Hello.
Michael speaking.
Hello, hello, hello.
This is the 53 episode of our No Office podcast, where we talk about some smart tips and methods to make your life and work easier.
Oh, yes.
Today, Michael has had a special scenario and a special idea for this episode. I will let him share this idea.
So we've had inquiries from our listeners. Hey, I like Nozbe. I like your app. I like what you're doing. But how do I convince my boss or my manager to give it a try to start using Nozbe? Or different version of this. Hey, I'm overwhelmed with emails in our work. I use Nozbe privately, but I would like us to adopt Nozbe. Where do I send my boss? I'm going to ask them to give it a try. So we thought about it, and I even created like kind of a sketch, like kind of a discussion between the employee and the boss. Yeah, it's it was very interesting, but a little bit cringy. So we decided that we will use this idea for something else. So stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're interested and if you're curious. But today we just decided to create this post episode of the podcast, of the No Office podcast, where we basically answer everything, all the doubts that a boss and a manager might have when going with Nozbe, and we're going to address all these questions, all these doubts, and we're going to address them all. And once we address them, I hope that after watching this episode or or listening to this episode, they will, they will be convinced to just give Nozbe a try.
That's right. So let's start from the use case, from everyday's life of normal person who has a company who runs a team. Damn, I lost half an hour again looking for this offer for a client. And the worst thing is that even I wasn't sure it was the current version or maybe the old version. How is that possible? And in our company, we take care of everything. We have uh, Google Drive, Cloud Drive, email, chat applications, even three of them. How is it possible that it still feels like a mess?
And this is like a typical use case, typical situation where Magda, where she's running the demos for Nozbe, is that people are like surprised that even though they have all these technologies, they have the best smartphones, the best laptops, everything the best, they are still kind of lost. They are
And
just don't know.
struggling with chaos.
Yes. So one of our solutions is like, yeah, because you're using too many tools. Because if there are too many channels of communication, too many ways to communicate, you just it's a mess because you just forgot. Okay, so where's the file? It's in this folder, or did you send it to me via this messaging platform, or was it an attachment in an email, or which email was it? So it's all a mess because there are just too many tools. And our customers who have been successful using Nozbe, they have realized that when they make Nozbe their like central hub of information, then they start succeeding. Then they everything starts to make sense, and everything is very easy to find and to manage and to just get organized. So that's the key.
Yeah, this moment of weakness of your boss, of your leader, is the good moment to mention Nozbe or other application that just will help you to centralize whole communication processes and is like exchange multiple communication channels into just one efficient app.
Yeah, and Nozbe. If you sell, but I'm going to ask you like, what is Nozbe, and you're going to say like it's a project management application. Then it's kind of a boring answer. And that's why our new answer is that Nozbe helps smart business owners get their personal and business life of themselves and their teams get organized in a simple way. So Nozbe is not only a to-do app, although it was born as a to-do app 18 years ago, inspired by Getting Things Done by David Allen. But it's not a to-do app because on one hand you have projects, tasks. So yeah, typical project and task management. But then you have comments to these tasks, which means communication. So Nozbe is an organization and communication app.
Yeah, for me personally, I call Nozbe my work application, because for me it's where I do my work, where I note down things, where I communicate with my team, when I set reminders, where I manage my deadlines. Like for me, everything is happening in Nozbe. So for me, Nozbe is actually a work app.
Yeah, Nozbe is like no office. It's your office. Like Nozbe is the place where work happens. And this is where you get organized, where you put all these projects, put on these tasks, and then you comment in the comments. And we've had customers when there was a pandemic and everybody had to go home, to work remotely because of the pandemic. One of our clients said that they were all in the office. They were all working from the office, and what happened was that when they had to go to their home offices, they were like, nothing has changed because they've been using Nozbe all this time. So they still had everything in Nozbe. So like kind of they took their office with them because their projects, tasks, and comments, everything was there.
Mhm. Okay, so once you explained everything to your boss about projects and tasks and comments, then he will go like, okay, comments to task, and like, how is it better from our good old emails and text messages?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things is that, of course, if you have a comment thread to one particular task, it's the comments are about this particular task. And as in previous episodes of this podcast we have explained, email sucks for collaboration. Email is really bad for collaboration because in the email you can have several attachments that you can be efficient writing an email about several things. And then don't get me started, if there is one attachment or one document and three people are working on it, then who has the last version, who has the newest version, who edited or touched the newest version? Like, you never know. Like, it's just a mess. So that's why commenting to a task is so much superior, because you're commenting on one topic to this thing. You're giving feedback to this task. You're ironing out the details of this particular task. You're sending documentation to this task. And there is no doubt that this task is about these things and nothing else.
Hmm. Yesterday, I had a consultation with a man who wants to convince their, I don't know, I think he's kind of a freelancer or maybe a part of a team who collaborates with bigger companies, and he wants to encourage these clients, these bigger companies, to work with them via Nozbe. And like I explained all the features to him, and he was really amazed with Nozbe. But then he said, but Magda, the boss of this company, he's so used to their, I think, Google Teams chat, like a group chat, and
Mm-hmm.
apparently this guy is totally addicted to this. And he said, maybe for the beginning we could just create a task, and I would call it a group chat, and they would exchange comments there. And I said, oh my god, it's so counterproductive. Why this person can't discuss and chat, but inside the project, inside a specific task? Why they need so much to have a general chat?
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea is to do this in context, to do this in theme, and not to spread communication, like to not to yeah, like not to have everything in one pot, mixed and unsearchable, but to nicely arrange it.
Yeah, but old habits die hard. So that's why it's for them it's really difficult to do that. But actually, this is a very smart thing to create a task which he will call group chat, and then will be comments there. The boss will comment there, but in Nozbe, you can in the comment you can also link to projects and to tasks. So this way, the rest of the team can start, dividing their work into projects and tasks, while the boss is still enjoying the group chat, and then at some point he might realize, oh, there are projects, oh, there are tasks, oh, I can actually go there and review them, instead of shouting from the rooftops to my group chat.
Yeah, maybe you're right, but for me it was so painful. This idea was that, and also I'm really um, anxious about introducing the group chat ever in the future in Nozbe. This is still something to be careful about. Okay, so how Nozbe is better from email and messages? Now you know how.
Yeah. Also, the boss. I mean, just like with the guy in the group chat, the bosses very often are used to the fact that if they need to know what's going on, what is the status of the situation of a project, whatever, they can send a message or to a group chat, for example. Hey, what's the status of this? How are we going with this? Right?
Hmm. Yeah. We will move on to this topic of checking the status. But for now, once we convince our boss how Nozbe and this our structure of project tasks and comments is better from regular emails and chats and text messages, probably he will want to know. Okay, but explain how we will collaborate, how the workflow will be. So then probably you should go with explanation of the structure of Nozbe. We have projects, tasks, and then comments. Projects are any aspect of your business. Project is any project you do. Project can be a campaign that you are running. So anything that actually your company is working on will be a project. Then you will populate this project with tasks. Tasks are single actions, something that you want to delegate to your employees. So something that one person can do or something that you want someone to take care of. So that's a task. And then if you want to give people feedback, if you want to communicate with them in regards to this task, that's where comments come in. And that's where you start discussion and start the group chat or whatever you want to call it, but in the context of this particular task. And that's how the work in Nozbe works.
Yeah,
Works, yeah.
yeah, and it's actually pretty simple. So, of course, the tasks also have some parameters. So you can put dates, due dates, all that stuff. So this way you don't forget about these tasks,
Mhm.
and you can delegate the tasks as you mentioned. But the cool thing is that the projects are very broad. So in Nozbe, we don't adhere to any definition of a project. So for you, your industry, your use case, projects can be something that you're doing, and it has a start and a finish, and you have to do it. And when you complete the project is done. But they can be just ongoing things or just grab bags, tasks of a department. So, for example,
Mhm.
we work in Nozbe's marketing department. So we have a marketing project, which is like just general marketing, ideas and things. And this project never ends. It's just there with just things we are working on, ideas we have to
Mhm.
discuss with our coworkers.
Yes, and
So
also depending on your field, the project can be your customer, the project can be your property, the project can be your construction, investment, anything
yeah, I mean,
really.
we have companies from different industries, and some, identify their clients. I mean, the law firms, they like to have one project per client. Other companies have like several projects for one client, and then they group the projects because you can do that also in Nozbe. So all these things, it's completely flexible. But the idea is that there is a big thing, there are tasks for it, and there is discussion and around the tasks.
Mhm. Okay, so now your boss will want to know the progress. That's what the topic that you have started.
Yeah.
Okay, until now, I wanted to know what's the progress. I either sent you an email asking what's the progress, or I organized a status meeting. What
Yes.
will I do now?
People love status meetings, right? So the change is this. Um, like I'm going to ask a question. So you as a boss, do you prefer to ask for status, or do you prefer to know the status? Know how things are going. Personally, as the CEO of our company, I prefer to know. I'm kind of feel embarrassed very often when I have to ask how things are going, because like it feels like I don't have my hand on this. Like if I don't, if I'm not really
Out of control.
yeah, controlling this thing. So for me, it's actually better to know the status. And I have this very cool example that after like a 2 weeks vacation, I was 2 weeks completely off the grid. Like I wasn't checking Nozbe. I didn't know what was going on in the company. I mean, we have planned things to do, so I knew like what in theory people are working on, but I haven't seen that. I haven't been following up. And then I came back on a Monday, and instead of calling a status meeting, now all the directors tell me what's going on, marketing tell me what's going on, like programmers give me tell me what's going on. Instead of that, I just went to Nozbe and checked the projects, checked the status of the projects, check what's going on. And after like a 2-3 hour, deep dive into our Nozbe projects and tasks, um, I I was up to date. I knew like where things have progressed. If I didn't know, if somebody hasn't posted their update, I just asked them in the comment to a task, hey, how is this going? So I would receive an answer pretty quickly. So this way I could check for the status without interrupting anyone, without
Mhm.
giving them, without taking them off their work to do a meeting with the boss. And this way, after a few hours, I knew exactly. I had the clarity of what to do next, what to focus on next.
Yeah, and the tip here is to maybe just agree with your team or introduce kind of policy, communication policy, that people who are working on given tasks, they regularly post in a comment how things are going, what's the progress, what's the status. I think it would really work fine for any type of company if they, for example, at the end of a day or at the end of the week, they just write a quick note. Hey, so far I managed to this and this, or today there was a big breakthrough, I managed to do this. So this way your boss or your colleagues can see without asking you and without taking your time how things are, and they can even give you a feedback or maybe advise you, or just say okay and give you a thumb or give you a small heart reaction.
Yeah, and here we have, as we're recording this live, there is we have our audience and Robert Cotton. Hello, he's a long-time user. He's commenting that that there are many things that not make Nozbe great, but he likes the calendar view. That and this is the cool thing, that as we say, we have projects, tasks, and comments. But if tasks have their due dates or reminders, they show up also in the calendar view. So this way you can see them in time. So in Nozbe, you don't have to use due date or reminder for every task. But for the ones that need their specific time and date, you can do that. And this way, again, you can filter out what's important today and what's important tomorrow.
Another view that Robert recommends, as I can see, is the view of a specific user. And this is
Yeah.
a good tool for managers to check how specific person is doing. So you can just view all the tasks of a chosen person in one list.
Yeah.
And this way you can see, okay, he has one task in this project, several tasks in this project, and here he has nothing. How come? This guy should be in this project. Why he's not contributing? So this is also a nice way of kind of controlling and yeah, staying in control.
Yeah, also seeing what's on people's plates. Like again, you don't have to call them and send them an email and ask them, hey, what's on your plate, what are you working on now? You can just click on them and just see that their tasks. So in real time you can see what they're working on. So it shifts the way you work. It shifts, instead of asking and demanding answers and interrupting people, you are actually seeing that, and you can contribute to that. You can, and I prefer this kind of way, because then as a boss, I prefer to go to your task, Magda, and just comment on it and say, hey, I like that, or hey, I have an additional question. Like, so this way, we're working together instead of I'm just demanding answers from
Yeah, it's collaboration.
you.
Okay, another sentence from a boss. And what if I see that there are more things to do in a given project than what is already listed in Nozbe?
I mean,
Once the project is done, it's done. We can't add anything, because in normal life, I would call you and I would just delegate you another thing to do, or I would email you with another task.
yeah, that's the cool thing. Again, projects, tasks, and comments. So if you open a project, you see all these tasks. So not only the boss can see, hey, there is something missing here. We haven't, we have all this, but we are not working on that. And you can just add a task. And it's as a Nozbe creator from the very beginning, I wanted to make sure that adding a task to Nozbe is just tap, click, go. Like it's so easy. Like it's barely inconvenience. You just tap, hit on a plus, write the task name, hit enter, and the task is done. It's added. So that's really simple. And the cool thing is that also your employees, your coworkers, they can open the same project and they can look at the project and be like, hey, yeah, I think we should also do this or that. And they can also add their tasks. So this democratizes work. It helps not oversee something or not, not see something. So when you're doing a project for a client or you're doing something for a client, many other people have the insight, have the view to the project and can contribute. And this way, nothing falls through the cracks.
Exactly. So together with introducing a new tool like Nozbe, it's also important to introduce a new rule and a new policy that not only the boss is the person who creates and delegates tasks. No, everyone in a team can create a task for themselves or for someone else or even for a boss, because that's how the work continues and how the project moves on. Sometimes we plan and the strategy for the project, but then things just come out, and you need to be reactive and work more and add something. So in Nozbe, everyone can add tasks. And I know that for some probably bosses and also generally for some companies, especially with more traditional approach, they they are afraid. How come you don't have those levels in Nozbe? There's like a guest user, regular user, super user, admin, super admin. We don't have this. We have, you can create, there is a person who creates a project, then they give access to the whole team or just to chosen people. And then everyone, as you say, there is a democracy, project democracy. Everyone has the same possibilities and the same yeah, they can create task, add task, change deadline, add the deadline, set a reminder, redelegate the task, and obviously write comments and attach attachments.
Yeah, and that's the key, because I know traditional companies prefer that, you employee, when you go to this project, you just do what you have to do and don't touch anything. Okay, they can still do that. They can still not touch anything. But also in Nozbe, we have introduced like a cool history of the task. So you can even see who completed the task, who added something, who changed the task parameters. So it's like if I set a deadline for you, Magda, and you change the deadline, I will see it in Nozbe. So
yeah, no cheating.
So no cheating, yeah. Well, in your case, it's the other way around. I'm setting a deadline for tomorrow, and you're doing it today. But in many cases, if I set a deadline for tomorrow and you're changing the deadline for Friday, I will see that. So again, this prompts a communication. Hey, why did you change the deadline? Hey, what's going on? So this way, again, you can work together better.
Another goal from the boss. As a boss, as a manager, I'm often on the go. I'm driving from one place to another. I'm at the meetings, conferences, I'm on the plane, I'm at the airport. I'm not always in the office in front of my computer to work on this desktop application Nozbe.
Yeah, and again, this is why we have doubled down on the mobile phone, smartphone first design of Nozbe. Um, unlike many competing products which there are on the market, and Nozbe's smartphone apps are not they are not companion apps. They are like fully blown Nozbe app in your pocket. You can manage your company from your pocket. We have a, we have a tagline for this. So your company in your pocket, and this way, when you're on the go, you can check your projects, reply to comments, change the delegation, set up new projects, add new tasks. It's so easy. It's like very easy. And actually, when you reply to comments, you can even dictate the comments, right?
Yeah, and I think this the firm in my pocket. It's a quote. from one of our clients. Yeah, it was the law firm.
Yes, yeah, we have a customer who has like it's a fairly big law firm, like medium-sized law firm, and the managing partner has never used Nozbe on a desktop. He has just been managing the whole company from his smartphone. Like for him, the smartphone was the most important component to being able to manage the company, because this way he could see, and they had the structure that for example, for every case they were dealing with, it was a different project, so he could see all the cases, he could see all the deadlines. And for a law firm, deadlines are really important. If you don't send your documents on time, you're basically screwed. So he could check all that, he could make sure that everything is on time from his pocket, from his smartphone. And in Nozbe, we have engineered the application like this, that it also works offline. So even if while you're traveling, you have a weak internet connection, you can still open a project, open tasks, you can still find everything, you can still use Nozbe as if nothing happened. And if you add something, then once you have a better connection, it synchronizes in the background and it just works. I to test this, sometimes when I'm traveling on the airplane, I'm actually doing my weekly review on the airplane. So I'm changing tasks, completing tasks, adding comments, doing all that. And then I see when we land, it just synchronizes beautifully and everything is done. So it's like it's glorious. And this way, it doesn't matter if you have a laptop, if you have a desktop, if you have a tablet, if you have a smartphone, Android or iPhone, it all works.
Mm-hmm. And also, probably many bosses would be concerned about data security, and maybe they would be afraid that, okay, everyone can carry our law firm in the pocket. Is it
Mhm.
safe? So, yes, it is safe. We are really concentrating a lot of efforts to make sure that we have everything under control, that we have. And okay, apart from our efforts, it's also, of course, important to give your team some guidelines, that they should have really strong passwords, that they should use mm, 2FA, double authentication format, not to let anyone get to your Nozbe. But it is really safe if you take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in business for 18 years, and we have backups and backups of the backups, and we have great customer support. We said to some clients who rely, for example, on Google services, we're like, good luck emailing Google customer support and having a reply. In our case, we have great customer support teams. So this way, even if you accidentally delete a project or a task, you can ask us to find it for you and bring it
And
back.
retrieve.
So really, we can save you save you from a major disaster, and that's our promise. This way, Nozbe can be your trusted system, and this way, it's just it gives you the peace of mind that everything is there, and you can get stuff done together with your team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another strong point that a reluctant boss would have is, okay, we have this project, tasks, and comments. That looks like a lot of writing, and writing takes more time and more effort than quickly arranging things like verbally, calling to each other or calling a quick meeting. Won't we waste time because of it?
Yeah, and this is a common misconception, because on one hand you think, oh, I'm going to have to journal so much, I have to write so much, I am not a writer or whatever. But look, when you're sending emails, you're writing as well. And very often when you're sending emails or messages, you're sending much more than you think, because you're sending messages there. And like, for example, I'm sending a message to you, Magda, and then I'm sending the same message, but then to Emilia to ask her about similar thing. And then I'm asking a message to Pavel, and then something else. So I keep sending different messages. In Nozbe, you write a comment to a task once, and then it stays not only for this person that is working on this task, but for everyone else who has access to this project. They can check on this comment, they can chime in on this comment or add their 2 cents, or they can reply to this comment because they have like additional information, and you don't have to remember, oh, I have to CC this guy or BCC this guy, I don't have to
Mhm.
send copy. They have access to the project, so they have access to the tasks, so they have access to all these comments. So once you write a comment, you write a comment basically for the entire team, even though
And
you
for the
write.
future generations as well, for the
And
future
this is the
employees.
key. This is the key. Once you make Nozbe your trusted system, your central point, then the knowledge stays with Nozbe. So even if your employees changed your jobs. They because every company at some point has this thing that people change jobs. It's normal. Even the best companies, people leave the best companies because they have other different goals and they want to work for someone else. So the moment they leave the company, the knowledge stays, their comments stay, their tasks stay. And recently we've Rafael, who was a co-host of this podcast, he left the company, and um, I don't have to bug him about things that he was doing for the company, because I can check his comments and I can check his tasks, and this has helped me a lot. In the transition, when he moved on, he wasn't working with us anymore, and I could check his past comments and to see what he was working on, where he finished something or not, and what I should pick up or not.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this
Every
way,
comment. Okay, go on. Sorry.
no, so this way it's just stays. The knowledge, the company knowledge stays um,
Yeah,
in the
for me,
company.
it feels like every comment can be a small beginning or even a part of serious documentation.
Hmm.
When we write, we tend to analyze things more than when we speak. The written messages, as we explained 2 episodes ago, are better, are more thoughtful, are also maybe more compressed without those let me think. No, when you write, you just write exactly what you want to say, and it will, as you said, it will stay forever. Even if someone leaves the company, their contribution, their tasks, their comments will be there. The avatar and the name of the user will be set as unknown, but it's there. So that's another advantage of
Yeah.
having Nozbe and communicating. mm,
No, the
in
avatar actually would
writing.
not be unknown. It will be just
I mean,
archived
like the
user, and
grayish. Yeah,
it
gray.
will be just grayed out. Yeah, and here Robert, our listener, is saying that one of the cool features, and this goes basically with this, is templates. It's the same that in Nozbe you can have templates. So this way, when you do something repeatedly, you can use templates, and this way you don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over again. For this podcast, we have a template. Every 2 weeks, we're launching a template to prepare this podcast and then promote the podcast. And with every week, every 2 weeks, we actually iterate on it. So we can go to the template, improve the template, change something, add a task, remove a task, or whatever. So this way, our template, our modus operandi, changes as we improve this process, as we record more podcasts, as we get better at podcasting. So having templates is great. Like, for example, again, when people move on from the company, we have a whole outboarding, in and outboarding template, where we check off, if we have removed them from this service, from this thing, so we can check really off if they have been removed from all the services that they've been using as a Nozbe employee, or we can onboard them the same way. So it's just a great way. And from our customers, when they have new clients, or the law firms that I mentioned, when they have a new clients, very often they have a template. Okay, once you have a new client, you have to ask them for this, check that, and prepare the job for the client. So having templates is just amazing.
Yeah, it's a great time saver. Today, I was talking to a lady who runs a real estate agency, and she also wanted to start with Nozbe. And together with her, we prepared a template, a project template for her for the new property that is for sale in her agency. So she will just be able to activate it, create a new project out of it, and she will probably save many minutes and hours. Also, this writing things down and communicating in comments lets us organize less meetings, and meetings are, as we know, usually counterproductive and pretty toxic.
Yeah, I mean, fewer meetings, thanks to the fact that we have everything in projects, tasks, and comments. Everybody
And
more
everyone has access to this.
and everyone has access to them. People know what's going on, so they don't have to have such long meetings, or meetings at all. Like, all these status meetings are gone, basically, because you don't have to explain the status, because it's there in the comments. So everybody can feel free to read. So we use meetings in our company as only for new ones, to just explain something that is really hard to explain in a written form. You just want to understand somebody's motives or something like this. And also we have meetings to just bond, because we work remotely. But apart from that, you don't need so many meetings. So again, if you're if you want to convince your boss, tell them, hey, there will be fewer meetings. You will have more time for your work, and we will have more time. We, who you pay, will have more time for our work that you're actually paying for, instead of calling us out for the meetings.
Mhm. Another doubt, also not only our imaginary boss, but also the client from my today's consultation had. Okay, we have so many properties. We have like flips, we have for sale property, we have for rent properties. We have so many of them. I will end up with like millions of projects and tasks. Okay, that's true. You will have many projects, but that's good. That's how your work is structured. And in Nozbe, there are many ways to deal with it and not to have any trouble because of that.
I mean, in Nozbe, you can organize things. You can group projects. You can, there are just many advanced features which we are not going to cover today. We have tags. There are many ways to. There, in projects you can have sections of projects. Like there are many ways to get organized better. But just listening to you, Magda, I'm thinking, if this client of ours, if they have so many things, so many properties, how are they managing it now if they don't have
Yes, she
Nozbe?
told me they are using WhatsApp groups, Messenger, and email.
Oh man,
But she
it
said
must.
they couldn't because before they were just a small, and now
Yeah,
their business grew. And she said
I mean, you
she's not
cannot.
coping with it anymore.
In her case, you cannot afford not to use Nozbe in that case, because
Mm.
it's really, you have to get it organized. You have to put it somewhere. So, and we have great search, so we can search by, so our our customers are really good in inventing, for example, keywords and words that they use. For example, the law firms, very often they have case numbers. So in the project there is a case number. So this way they can search by a case number and find the project and know
Mhm.
exactly what's going on. There are many other keywords that we might use, and sometimes as you use Nozbe, you start improving your system. Like, so just today, for example, I had trouble. I asked you, I had trouble finding one task, so I renamed it because I was using a different keyword to find this task. So I decided,
You
okay,
renamed this task?
I
That
added
was my
one.
keyword. Ah, okay,
I added.
because
I added. I didn't.
automagic was my
I didn't.
keyword.
I didn't remove
Okay.
anything.
Oof.
I I added one more keyword for
Okay.
myself. So
Good.
I didn't. So don't worry, you'll find the task anyway. So no. So I have improved the system. I haven't.
Okay, I thought you destroyed my life.
No. I haven't destroyed your life. But again, this is communication. If I rename it and I rename it to something that you don't like, you can rename it back, or you can ask me in comment, Michael, what did you do to my life? So, so that's also possible. But that's the key. If you have so many things to do, it's really important to get it organized, because as you mentioned, the client that you talked to today, I can't imagine her managing many properties in WhatsApp groups.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that must have been exhausting. Okay, another thing. Will people want to try using a new tool? Probably they will surely say that, oh, the boss is crazy. He came or she came up with another app. We'll have to learn again. We'll have to implement another unnecessary tool. What advice can we give?
Yeah. So the thing is that once they see how Nozbe simple, how simple Nozbe is, they will. But before I do, I don't want to speak for myself. I'm going to ask Sarah to explain, how she uses Nozbe. This way, you will know what I mean.
When we've been around for about 10 years, our business has, and we've been using Nozbe for about 8 of those years. And as we grew, we kind of got to the point where I just couldn't remember everything anymore. I'm pretty organized. I would just kind of keep everything in my head and with Post-it notes and things like that. And it just got to be too much. And so I started looking around for some sort of project management software that could help me set up really a trusted system. But really, I just wanted a system where I could know that I had everything in there. I wasn't going to forget anything. I wasn't going to drop any balls for clients or miss deadlines.
So there you go. Sarah told you, like, you have to have everything in one system.
Yeah, and also I think you spoke to a CEO of a huge Polish company, and he also said that, yeah, my team did exactly the same, but now they just can't imagine their lives without Nozbe. For first period is going to be hard. You'll have to force people to use it, to change their habits. And as we spoke in a few episodes back, it's really hard to get rid of habits. If people were emailing for tens, decades, it's hard for them to now change and go for Nozbe. But step by step, they will love it.
I mean, we have put Sarah's short version of this conversation. We have a longer one on our blog, where she explains that thanks to the fact that she has all these projects and everything in Nozbe, onboarding a new person is actually easy, because you give them access to Nozbe, you delegate a few tasks to them, and they get the hang of it very quickly. Because again,
but I think it's easier where the new employee comes to the company and you say, okay, we use Nozbe here. They are forced to do this. But I think the more difficult situation is with the people who are already used to another work style, and now you want to change it. So for me, you should start small. You should maybe try with 1 or 2 projects, and first try with 1 or 2 people. For sure. Give people a really good training in Nozbe to show them how it works, how the application functions, what are the features. And we do this in Nozbe. Like, you can sign up for the consultation with me, or we have many materials, educational materials. And then once they know how it works, you just have to really push them and tell them that now it's going to be our communication tool. Please, if you want something from me, don't email to me, don't write, don't call. Please just put a task or put a comment in a proper place. Let's communicate like this. If you don't like it for a month, for 3 weeks, for a month, okay, we'll revise it. And we, as a Nozbe, will give you back the money if you totally find it unuseful.
As an employee, if you want to if you're talking to your boss about this, really, then you can convince them, hey, I'm going to set it up for my group, and you, the boss, will have access to it, so you'll see what we're doing. And I'm going to set these certain projects that we do only them exclusively in Nozbe. We don't do them via email. We don't do them via chat. These things we discuss only in Nozbe, only in this group. So this way the boss can see how it's going. They can chime in if they want to. But these people who, this person who wants Nozbe, he has more pull with the people who are working with them. So this way it gets easier to convince just his circle of coworkers to start. So I would advise this. Nozbe is, we'll talk about the price, because Nozbe is really not expensive. So you can really give it a try for a month and just set it up for this group. Start working exclusively in some projects only in Nozbe. And this way, these people will see the change. You will see how it works. The boss will see how great it's working. And the boss will be much more motivated after a month of this kind of trial to push this trial to more people in the company, and to invite more teams from your company to do this, to work together like this. So again, starting small, it's the way to create new habits. And totally, starting with Nozbe, starting with a tool like Nozbe, is a way to create new habits. So you have to do that, and you have to do it small. But it's not a big investment, but it pays off really quickly.
So now, apropos,
yes,
the price, the money, the financial aspect.
So in my last episode, the whole podcast, last podcast episode was time equals money. So I explained all the math there. But basically, a price of one Nozbe seat, of one Nozbe account, is basically the price of an hourly rate of a not really well-paid person. So if you, thanks to Nozbe, I can promise you get at least 1 hour back in a month. So a monthly fee of Nozbe will pay for itself, very quickly. And you will, and apart from that you will have more time to do your work, because you will be more organized. You will gain less stress, and stress is a big contributor to quality of work. You will be more in control. There will be more, everything will be more calm, and you will have everything under your supervision. So everything will be more transparent. your people will be working better. They will be working more like coworkers, like partners in crime, instead of one for each other. And so there will be the communication between your employees will not be an issue anymore. There will be other issues, but communication will not be one of them, because people will know where things are. So that's why I encourage you to give it a try, because really, Nozbe, we have designed Nozbe to pay for itself so quickly, because we want as many teams to use Nozbe as possible. And we have thousands of paying customers and all over the world. And for us, we are not aiming at the big companies. We are not aiming at, we don't want Nozbe to be this $1 million solution or something. We want Nozbe to be really inexpensive, so that small companies, large and small, can start using Nozbe right away, and it's not much.
Yeah, if someone asks, okay, but it's too expensive comparing to what? Like, in the name of what? Of your efficiency? I think people really don't realize how much stress, nerves, energy, efforts, resources, and time they are wasting every day on simple things like looking for the information, conflicts, spread responsibility, people looking for the things that someone told them via phone, or people fighting who was supposed to do what and what was the actual deadline. In Nozbe, that doesn't happen. You save like really so many hours and so much energy for that.
Exactly. So that's your ultimate selling point, that work will be better, and you will. I mean, it will feel like you're working twice the efficiency. You're doubling your productivity thanks to using Nozbe, because it will feel like a big change. You will gain time. You will be more organized. You will be more in control, and not only the boss, but everyone else as well. You will feel like you're contributing more to the company, to the work. It's just a different way of working altogether. That's why, hopefully, if you're the boss listening to this, if you want to give it a try, I encourage you to go to nozbe.com/guide. This is our page where there is a 5-minute video showing you how you can set up Nozbe in less than 5 minutes. So it's really, really easy to show you that it's really like from zero to hero. It's less than 5 minutes, so it doesn't take so much time. And then you can read more about our philosophy, what we just explained in this podcast. Later, once you get onboarded your first people and you start using Nozbe, I encourage you to talk to Magda. So to just schedule a demo, nozbe.com/demo. And this way, Magda can explain how you can use Nozbe in your industry for your team, like to adapt Nozbe to the way you work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the last point, or the first actually, is to set up your account via a proper link, nozbe.com/podcast. And with that, I would like to say goodbye, and just go there and set up your Nozbe account. And hopefully this video and this podcast has been helpful to you and your team.
Yeah, I hope so too. Bye.
Thank you for being an amazing listener of the No Office podcast. Every other Wednesday, we meet to talk about productivity and hybrid lifestyle, because we believe that work is not a place to go. It's a thing to do. It's a special gift only to No Office podcast listeners. When you sign up for Nozbe using this link, nozbe.com/podcast, you'll get $30 of credits, which you can use to upgrade to Nozbe Premium. Nozbe helps thousands of smart business owners and their teams get their professional and private life organized in a single app in a simple way. And Nozbe is free for up to 3 active projects and 3 people on your team. So start today and claim your free bonus credits, which you will later need to upgrade to unlimited projects. Once again, thank you for being an amazing listener. Thanks for your support and for spreading the word about our No Office podcast and Nozbe. See you and hear you in the next episode, and in the meantime, claim your bonus credits here. Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from